Your David Austin rose is wilting at 2 p.m. and recovering by 7 p.m. You think that's normal summer behavior. It's the first sign that your rose is running out of the biological reserves it needs to survive the rest of the season. And by the time the visible damage shows up, you've already missed 4 other signs that came before it. I'm going to walk you through the 6 heat stress signs your David Austin roses are showing right now in mid-July or mid-January if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, including the one at sign number 4 that almost every rose care guide gets completely wrong. And I'll show you the 4-step recovery protocol at the end. What heat stress actually is. Before we get into the 6 signs, you have to understand what heat stress actually is inside a David Austin rose, because most of the advice on this topic misses the biology entirely. David Austins were bred in England, like a climate that averages 70 degrees Fahrenheit in July. When we grow them in zone 5 to 6 summers where temperatures push into the 90s, the plant is operating outside its genetic comfort zone every single day. Heat stress isn't just about heat. It's about what happens inside the plant when temperatures stay above 85 degrees for extended periods. The rose starts shutting down photosynthesis. It closes its stomata, the tiny pores on leaf undersides, to prevent water loss. And when photosynthesis slows down, everything the rose does, blooming, root growth, disease resistance, slows down with it. The 6 signs I'm about to show you are your rose's way of telling you it's running low. Let's start with the one everyone sees, but nobody reads correctly. Sign 1. Afternoon wilt that doesn't fully recover. Sign number 1 is afternoon wilt that doesn't fully recover overnight. Some afternoon wilt is normal. A healthy David Austin will droop slightly during peak heat as a protective mechanism and bounce back completely by evening. That's fine. What you're watching for is the recovery pattern. Walk out to your rose at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. If the leaves are still slightly limp, if the cane tips are drooping even in the cool of dawn, that's a rose that couldn't rehydrate overnight. That's heat stress, not routine wilt. Diagnostic test, the morning turgidity check. Gently squeeze a leaf between your thumb and forefinger at 7 a.m. A healthy leaf feels firm and springy. A heat-stressed leaf feels soft, almost papery. If most of your rose's leaves feel soft at dawn, sign number 1 is confirmed. Why this happens? The plant's roots can't pull water fast enough to replace what evaporated the day before, which means the problem isn't at the leaves, it's at the roots, which is why spraying the leaves does nothing. Sign 2, leaf curl with crispy edges. Sign number 2 is leaf curl with crispy edges. And I want to distinguish this clearly from drought damage because they look similar and gardeners confuse them constantly. Drought damage is uniform. The whole leaf browns from the edges inward evenly. Heat-stress leaf curl is different. The leaf curls upward along the central vein and the plant is literally trying to reduce its own sun exposure, and the edges get crispy while the center of the leaf stays green. This is important because the fixes are different. Drought damage tells you to water more. Heat-stress leaf curl tells you the plant is trying to cool itself and can't. More water doesn't fix that. Shade does. Diagnostic test, the leaf orientation check. Look at how the leaves are held on the cane. A healthy David Austin holds its leaves relatively flat, facing outward and slightly upward. A heat-stressed rose holds its leaves cupped upward, sometimes almost vertical. That's the plant reducing surface area to escape the sun. Munstead Wood and Princess Alexandra of Kent show this earlier than most varieties. If you have either of them and you're seeing cupped leaves, you're seeing sign number 2. Sign 3, bloom blast. Sign number 3 is bloom blast, buds forming and then dropping without opening. This one breaks gardeners' hearts and most of them blame themselves. It's not you. Bloom blast is a heat stress response where the plant forms a bud, invests energy into it, and then aborts it partway through development because it doesn't have the reserves to finish the job. You'll see it happen 2 ways. Either the bud never colors up, it stays green and dry and eventually falls off, or it colors, starts to open, and then just stops. Petals stay clenched. The bud browns from the outside in. Diagnostic test, the bud count. Walk your rows and count the buds that have set on each cane. Then count the buds that have fully opened over the last 2 weeks. If more than 30% of set buds are aborting, that's sign number 3. Vanessa Bell and Bosca Bell are especially prone to bloom blast in zone 5 to 6 heat. If you have either of them in a full sunspot, this is often the first sign you'll see. Quick pause. If you're getting value from this, hit subscribe. We go this deep every week. Let's keep going. Sign 4. Color fade in normally vivid varieties. Sign number 4 is the one nobody talks about, and the one every rose care guide gets wrong. When a normally vivid David Austin variety starts blooming in washed-out pale colors, Munstead Wood's deep crimson blooming as dusty rose, Princess Alexandra of Kent's rich pink blooming as pale blush, most gardeners assume it's the sun bleaching the petals. It's not. The plant is producing petals with less pigment before the bloom even opens because it doesn't have the metabolic energy to synthesize full color. Anthocyanins, the pigments that give David Austin roses their color, are produced through active biological processes that require carbohydrate reserves produce. When the plant is running on empty, it prioritizes petal formation over petal coloring. You get the shape without the color. Diagnostic test, the reference bloom. Compare your current blooms to a photo you took of the same variety in June, when temperatures were cooler. Same variety, same plant, same conditions except the temperature. If July's blooms are visibly paler, that's not sun bleach. That's sign number 4. This is why sign number 4 is the most misdiagnosed. Fix the wrong problem and you'll damage the plant further. Sign 5. Yellowing without disease signs. Sign number 5 is yellowing leaves, but with no disease markers. Black spot yellowing has spots. Powdery mildew yellowing has fuzz. Nutrient deficiency yellowing follows a pattern, either between the veins or from the margins in. Heat stress yellowing is different. The leaves yellow uniformly, from the older lower leaves upward, with no other symptoms. What's actually happening? The plant is sacrificing older leaves to preserve reserves for newer growth. This is called senescence, and in a healthy plant, it happens in fall. When it happens in July, that's a stress signal. Diagnostic test, the leaf age check. Look at where the yellowing is starting. Heat stress yellowing starts on the bottom third of the plant and the oldest leaves and works upward. If you see yellowing on newer growth at the top while the bottom is still green, that's a different problem. Probably nutrient related. Heat stress works bottom up. Don't fertilize your way out of this. Adding nitrogen to a heat-stressed rose forces new growth the plant can't sustain and makes everything worse. Sign 6. Sudden cane dieback from the tip. Sign number 6 is sudden cane dieback from the tip. And this is the sign that tells you the plant has moved past stress into damage. A cane tip that browns and dies back is the plant cutting off its own supply lines. When water and nutrient movement gets too expensive to sustain at the extremities, the rose sacrifices the youngest, farthest outgrowth first. You'll see it happen over a few days. The tip goes from green to yellow to brown, and the browning creeps down the cane an inch or two. Diagnostic test, the scratch test. Take a fingernail or pruners and lightly scratch the bark just below the brown tissue. Green underneath means live wood. The cane is stopping the dieback there. Brown underneath means the damage is still moving. If it's still moving, you'll need to cut back to green tissue. But wait until temperatures drop before pruning, because pruning a stressed rose in 90-degree heat makes everything worse. If you're seeing dieback on multiple canes simultaneously, sign number 6 is escalated. The plant is triaging. What these 6 signs have in common. Every one of these 6 signs comes from the same underlying problem: carbohydrate reserve depletion. David Austin roses store energy as carbohydrates in their cane tissue and root system. In heat, they burn through those reserves faster than they can replace them because photosynthesis itself slows down when it gets too hot. Which brings us to what you actually do about it. The 4-step heat recovery protocol. Here's the recovery protocol I use in my own zone 5 to 6 garden when I see 2 or more of these signs at once. Step 1, deep water at the base only. Water slowly at the base of the plant until the moisture reaches 8 inches deep. Not sprinkled, not misted from above. A drip line or a handheld hose at the crown, running slow for 20 to 30 minutes per plant, 3 times per week during heat waves. Step 2, refresh mulch to 3 inches. Mulch is your cheapest, most effective heat protection. 3 inches of shredded hardwood or leaf compost around each plant, kept off the crown by 2 inches. Insulates the roots and dramatically reduces soil temperature. If your mulch has thinned to less than 2 inches, top it up this week. Step 3. Afternoon shade, temporary is fine. For roses showing signs 4 through 6, temporary afternoon shade during peak heat waves genuinely helps. 30% shade cloth on stakes from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. during 90-plus degree days. It looks ugly for a week. Your rose will recover. Step 4. Stop fertilizing until temperatures break. This is the one most gardeners get wrong. When they see a struggling rose, they feed it. That is exactly the wrong move in heat stress. Nitrogen forces soft new growth that the plant can't sustain, and it burns reserves faster. Withhold all feeding until nighttime temperatures drop below 70 degrees consistently. In zone 5 to 6, that's usually mid-August. If your David Austin roses are showing 2 or more of these 6 signs, you now know exactly what's happening and what to do about it. Save this video, come back to it every July. Which sign are you seeing right now in your garden? Drop it in the comments and I'll tell you what I think is going on. If this gave you a clearer picture of what your David Austin roses are actually telling you, give it a thumbs up. And if you're on your phone in the first 7 days after upload, hit the hype button below the video, the little shooting star icon. It's mobile only, and it's one of the most powerful ways to help a small channel like this one get discovered. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video we're going. The David Austin rose propagation window closes this month. Here's how to actually do it legally. Until next time, happy gardening.